over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
All right, good to see you again. November 2025, already moving at a fast, steady pace, kind of like the show. If you're a newbie, I'm Ray, that is Jennifer, and to keep things rolling along, this here is what's coming up on the program, Miss Parson.
Yes, off we go. Straight ahead for one young Georgia farmer, getting started wasn't easy. But thanks to a unique partnership, his cotton and his story are now part of something much bigger. Also on the program, they're the backbone of Georgia's economy, and helping them succeed is the mission of a new leader at the Farm Service Agency. How his business background could bring fresh perspective to farmers across the state.
And then later, truth be told, the rodeo spirit never really left. It just needed a new generation to dust off the saddle. See the story of how the ABAC Rodeo Club and the students who run it are breathing new life into a legacy decades in the making. All this and so much more starting right now. For Georgia cotton farmers, it's a story that is all too familiar. They grow the crop here, but the final product usually finished somewhere else. However, that's starting to change thanks to a company called Magnolia Loom. As our John Holcomb shows us, their mission to keep more of that value right here in Georgia is paying off.
Farming is challenging for anyone right now, but for young producers, especially those trying to break into the industry, it can feel nearly impossible, especially when you're starting from scratch. It's a reality many farmers, like John Henry Roberts, know all too well.
I'd say the hardest challenge is just getting into it to begin with. If it wasn't for my boss right now, I wouldn't have this opportunity. I mean, like I said, I'm a first generation, the latest generation for me to farm with my great granddaddy, and that's when everybody farmed. So if it wasn't for him, I couldn't do this with the cost of inputs, the cost for a used tractor now, and you have to have certain harvesters for certain crops like cotton takes one harvester, peanuts take one harvester.
Despite those challenges, Roberts found new motivation through a partnership with Magnolia Loom, a Georgia-based clothing company that's working to bridge the gap between farmers and the finished product.
A lot of things we have now are American grown, but they're not American made. You'll see made in Haiti, made in Colombia, made in Guatemala. So knowing that what Scott and Zeke and them are doing up there at Magnolia Loom, that they can take this cotton, keep it separated from mine as far as it goes on the average of 750 miles to a garment like this that I can touch with my own hands, it's special.
For Roberts, that connection to something tangible, a t-shirt made from his own cotton, is more than just pride. It's about a fair price for the cotton he's putting so much of himself into.
The Magnolia Loom mission is on supporting the farmer is to give a dollar a bale or 20% above market price, whichever is higher. So even if cotton market price goes to $1, they're still going to pay you $1.20. And their mission is not to make one farmer a lot of money. What they're doing is buying little bits from lots of people to make it truly Georgia grown. And I like that a lot about them, and I'm very thankful. Like I said, that $1, they might buy 10, 20 bales from me, so it's not going to have as much of the economic impact as the rest of my crop. But still, though, that $1 they're paying me is a heap a lot higher than the market value is now.
That farmer first mission is what's resonating with others across the state, including growers like Clayton Anderson in Bullitt County, who's dependent upon his bottom line in order to stay in business.
Well, the bottom line is important because that's what keeps us in business. I mean, it's everything. A lot of farmers brag about the top yields, but they may not be making money, making that top yield. They have to put more inputs in it.
For Anderson, though it's no doubt important, it's not just about the numbers. It's about seeing his hard work go toward something that truly represents Georgia agriculture.
It's a great opportunity, and every little bit helps. They're not buying my whole crop, but I appreciate whatever they can and whatever they're doing to promote Georgia cotton. I wish we could just get more consumers to realize that what the plastic clothing is doing to our health. and Magnolia Loom is doing their part to promote cotton. And I appreciate it, and all farmers do.
Reporting in Pitts for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Despite tensions in Washington, it's business as usual for FSA offices around the state. They're once again processing farm loans. Our Damon Jones sat down with newly appointed State Executive Director Duncan Johnson Jr., who's eager to put his decades of business experience to work for Georgia farmers.
There are more than 39,000 farming operations here in Georgia, generating just over $13 billion in revenue each and every year. It's why the Farm Service Agency is so important, as it helps support the state's #1 industry with a variety of programs that provide a financial safety net for producers. It's a group of people the new State Executive Director Duncan Johnson Jr. is excited to work alongside in order to ensure a sustainable and affordable food supply.
I was drawn to this. I was actually asked to consider doing this job because of my business experience and looking into all about agriculture. It's just great people in an industry that needs help. It's fun, it's great people, and farmers are a good community to be a part of, and I love being out in it.
While Johnson might not have spent much time around the farm, he does have plenty of experience running a day-to-day operation, and knowing those ins and outs of what it takes to run a successful business will serve him well in his new role.
I think not having grown up as a farmer and growing up in a generational family business, understanding the pressures that come with that and running a business, and also being in an industry that controls the prices going in and the prices going out, and you try to make money in the middle. It's a lot like farming. So hopefully I can take that and translate that into doing a better job to serve our farmers. My long-term goals is to make sure that Georgia's FSA is accessible to the farmers, is efficient, and does everything they can to help make farming fun and profitable.
And that is the name of the game, even though it has become increasingly difficult with the record cost of production and the lagging commodity prices. It's why educating yourself on what programs FSA has to offer is now more important than ever.
I think it's always been important, but especially when times are tough, being familiar with what's there to help you stay sustainable and profitable is very important. FSA is very important for the farmers because it's such a tough industry and it is so up and down, and the security of our farmers to make sure that we can still go to the grocery store and have something to eat is so important, and FSA needs to be there to help bridge the gap and work to keep it to be a profitable industry so we have sustainable and more farmers.
With nearly 90% of Georgia farms having annual sales of less than $50,000, placing an emphasis on the smaller operations has become a priority for this administration.
The Secretary and the President are working really, really hard to make sure that we take care of farmers, and the focus is on the small farmer, which we have a lot of in Georgia. And so I'm excited to see what's coming and what the administration is doing and putting out. As we have our reorg coming down the line, I think it's going to be great and a benefit to our small farmers.
Reporting from Tifton, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
From bulls to books and everything in between, the ABAC Rodeo Club proves that once you fall in love with rodeo, you never let go. That's next when the Farm Monitor continues.
Technology is transforming farming faster than ever, and drones are leading the charge. From scanning vast fields for pests and disease to spraying pesticides and nutrients with pinpoint precision, drones are helping farmers save time, money, and resources. Now, the Precision Horticulture Lab at the University of Georgia's College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences is taking it one step further. At UGA's Tifton campus, a team of scientists is developing a game-changing mobile platform, the Drone Dock, a refueling and reloading station designed for large drones that cover hundreds of acres at a time.
What we wanted with Drone Dock was a platform, a fully automated platform to support spray drone operations. A grower on a daily basis, when he is spraying the crops, he needs to dose the chemicals using volumetric cylinders. And then there's also a mixture, a chemical mixing operation that the growers has to do. With the drone dock, we can do that automatically with the app that we also developed for the platform.
Like most modern technology, the drone dock comes with its own app. Developed in-house, it gives farmers complete control, from adjusting spray mixture ratios to setting precise application rates, all from their phone or tablet.
So the main idea behind this project was also to develop something user-friendly. So we developed a mobile app. So the end user just need to open the app and input some information like area, the application rate, and also be able to select up to 3 chemicals to prepare the application mixture and deliver into the drone.
The drone dock is still in development, but when it's ready for market, it promises to transform farm operations, making drone use faster, more efficient, and more sustainable.
It reduces the human exposure to chemicals, so the robot calculates and measures everything by itself, so we don't need to have the contact with the chemicals. This project also helps us with environmental impacts, so we have reduced a lot the amount of chemicals used in the mixing process. And economically, once we are saving some of those inputs, we are also saving money. So those are 3 of the main impacts we have with this platform.
The innovation is already turning heads. The Drone Dock team recently took home the Grand Prize Innovation Award in the Farm Robotics Challenge, and they're not stopping there.
What we envision for the future is that the drone is going to leave your home automatically with Drone Dock, which is an autonomous robot. It's going to go to the field, and then as soon as it gets to that point, it takes off, sprays, come back, gets refilled, and do the same operation over and over. Also in the future, we're going to develop a platform that's going to support other robotic operations.
From the first seeds sown to the final harvest, technology is leading a vision for smarter, more sustainable farming. With innovations like the drone dock, the future of agriculture is taking flight right here in Georgia.
As we tip our hats to fall festivities, here's one you don't want to miss. The spotlight shines on the ABAC PCA Pro Rodeo. Attendees will be treated to team roping, mutton busting, even a wild donkey ride, plus great food and fun for all ages. Tickets and VIP info available now at abac.edu/rodeo. And what many may not realize, the heartbeat behind this 2-night event is the ABAC Rodeo Club itself. For decades, it's been a driving force on campus, helping keep the Western tradition alive. But despite its long and proud history, few outside the ABAC community even know the club exists. That is, until now.
Well, 82 was when I came, in fall 82, and it got real big. But when the economy tanked in 2008, and they had to cut money out, and they cut the rodeo team out, because the rodeo team competed for 16 years, intercollegiate rodeo. I was on the rodeo team, but we were more of a club team. We wasn't funded by the school.
We've really all worked together to get this club to come together. It's incorporated with our rodeo students, and so that's helped a lot, but we also have a lot of students that come in that don't know about the rodeo industry, and it's really been fun to just get them joining the club and, getting them in the rodeo industry also.
I just love horses. I like being on horses all day. I like competing, very competitive. So I just fell in love with the team roping and stuck to that.
So all of our school rodeos aren't put on by us, it's put on by the school. So we really, really want to get a team where we compete in the collegiate rodeos that ABAC has for us to be a part of, because we're such a big rodeo school, we're a huge ag school. We really want to be back a part of that organization.
Rodeo means a lot to all these kids, and they, a lot of them have been around rodeo since they were little, and they just have enjoyed it. Horses are something that you fall in love with. And, you know, I was a bull rider, so this ground's sacred to me.
Since we're on the subject of rodeo, when we come back, they travel hundreds of miles, trade comfort for commitment, and saddle up as a family. You're going to meet the Canups from Wilkes County, where rodeo isn't just a sport, it's their identity.
All Americans should care about tax reform for agriculture, and this is why. Our family farms are already being threatened by rising costs and inflation, just like your families are. And new tax burdens, they would put pressure on our farms to the point where they may have to go out of business. That would cause more consolidation in our food system. And it could even cause us to depend more on imported food, which Americans really don't want to happen. They want to know where their food comes from, and they want it to come from America. We need to continue these tax provisions that we have so it helps our farmers be able to sustain themselves there. Because at the end of the day, food security in our country really provides us national security, because we don't have to depend on any other country to grow the food that we consume and our families consume every day. We can always depend on an American farmer to be there and deliver that quality of food. Tax reform is important to our farmers because it goes straight to the economic sustainability of our farms. Farmers are price takers, not price makers. That means that we take whatever the price is that people are offering to pay for the commodities that we produce. That means we run on very thin margins. And these small business tax provisions helps us keep us economically sustainable. The average age of the farmer across America is my age, and we have to find ways to be able to pass our farms on to the next generation so that we can continue to provide that food and fiber for our people here in America. Through estate tax exemptions, we're able to let our families inherit our land without having to sell parts of it off to pay the tax burden. Farmers have America's back by providing the food, fiber, and fuel that we all depend on. But the American people can have the farmers back by supporting tax provisions that allow us to keep our farms in business.
All right, Ray DeLessio back with you on the Firearm Monitor. Right now, we want to take you to Washington, Georgia for a special look at the Canup family. Trust me when I say they are not your average family, and their weekends are anything but typical. While most are unwinding, the Canups are loading trailers, tightening saddles, and hitting the road. It's a lifestyle built on commitment, courage, and a deep sense of togetherness.
They say the road to the rodeo isn't a straight one. It's dusty, chaotic, and rarely runs on schedule. But for the Canup family, it's exactly where they feel most at home. For Sam and Van Canup, rodeo isn't just a weekend hobby. It's the fabric of their family. But like most things in life, it didn't start that way.
I didn't rodeo really before I met him. It's just always really been school for me. I mean, I did like horses. I've had them most of my life, but didn't really rodeo. It's not as big of a thing in West Virginia. But we did it for a while when he never really stopped, which I think is one of the reasons why our kids are in it so much. It'd be easy to stop and not take them and just stay at home, keep it simpler. But we have toted them along on everything since day one.
I didn't grow up rodeoing, and then I grew up, I played ball, and then when I started rodeoing, I realized quick that you can go all over the country and you're one big family.
And for Van, it was never about pushing his kids to follow in his boots. It was about showing up together.
I've told them from an early age that they can make a living doing what they love, and they can make a living doing horses. It may not be the best living, or it could be the best living. It just depends on what level they want to take it to and the opportunities that open up for them.
These days, together looks a little different. With 3 girls, Hannah, Sadie, and Annie riding in different events and sometimes different towns, family weekends now mean dividing and conquering.
So it's a little bit different now. It's actually kind of rare, I feel like, that we all get to rodeo together. Usually he's with Sadie at one and I'm with the oldest at another high school rodeo, and they compete both in different ways. So it's rare that we all get to do it together, but some weekends we do.
At just 9 years old, Sadie Knupp already knows the spotlight and the saddle. Her act, trick riding. Her partner, a steady, reliable horse named Apache.
What are some of your earliest memories about being around a rodeo?
Probably me on my horse Lola. I was really, really young. That's her.
Oh, okay.
But me on my horse Lola at a junior rodeo.
How about a normal day in Sadie's life as far as practicing, whether it be for the rodeo or trick riding? Take us through a typical day and how you practice.
I normally practice new tricks. I'll do my old tricks again. And I'll learn new techniques.
Sadie's days are a blend of practice, repetition, and a little imagination, like the time she fell asleep in the barn on her horse.
I took my blanket. I got ready, I took my blanket up there, and I got on him, and his butt cushion was my pillow, and I just fell asleep. Like, I fell asleep right there, and then my dad looked everywhere, in the truck, in the house, in the clinic.
If Sadie is the showstopper, then Annie is the firecracker. The youngest Knupp is just starting to find her stride in the arena. At 5 years old and beyond her years, she's already dreaming of the day she can perform right beside her big sister.
I like barrel racing, and I like doing poles.
When you watch Sadie, what goes through your mind? What do you think about?
I think about, like, should I cheer first? Should I not? I don't know.
A lot of times I'm more of a, well, they're young and they're learning, and just kind of let it happen however it happens. And I know that that's part of rodeoing and horses is, there's going to be days that you can, if you try to make something happen, it's not going to happen.
How do you find that balance to where you're not pushing them too hard to where they burn out? Do you just let them go?
I think it's a daily struggle that we've done a lot of here lately. When they say they need a break, as long as they've worked hard, then they need a break and they get the break. But if they're not practicing, if they haven't practiced, then they need to get out and go practice.
Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years, as far as the rodeo stuff and the trick riding? What would you like to see yourself in 5 years be doing?
And our farms in Las Vegas, it would be a big travel and stuff if I wanted to go there, but it's a really big rodeo. Best people in the world go there. They normally don't have that many acts, but I'm hoping that I can be one of them.
In a world that moves fast, the Knupps are choosing something different. Long roads, hard work, and the kind of memories that don't come with shortcuts.
Great family, aren't they? Hey, one final note before we go. Congratulations to former Georgia Governor and U.S. Secretary of Ag Sonny Perdue for his recent induction into the National Agricultural Hall of Fame. Well-deserved honor.
Unfortunately, that puts a big holiday bow on this show. For Ray and everyone here at the program, I'm Jennifer Parson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.